So, I want to try something new. Tell you guys a little story about how I got into a DUI accident when I was 16. Wasn't driving. Got pretty messed up. Fled the scene. Basically, went over to my dad's. Only went there on the weekends. And my brother-in-law was there, and he was going to the movies with a family friend who had just turned 21. Got a brand new truck. Um, was in college, going to become an attorney. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's go. Um, we get to the AMC, ta-da, and fucking, we get there and they're like, yeah, do you guys even want to go see a movie? Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't care. And then they're like, nah, let's go do something else. I'm like, all right, cool. So we end up leaving the AMC, going to like a 7-Eleven, and we end up getting these alcohol drinks that they used to have. They still have them, but back in the day they were way worse. They're called Four Locos, hyped up with fucking caffeine and alcohol. And he got two of them. Me and my brother shared one. We're just chilling in bowling alley parking lot, fucking around. We had a couple guys come up to us and started doing some beats, and we're like just fucking around, rapping like freestyles and stuff, and just messing around. Um, we end up deciding we were hungry. It was about the time we were almost had to go home, about an hour and a half. That the movie would have been over and chilling. So we were like, oh, let's go to McDonald's. And where we were at, McDonald's about a half a mile away, maybe a quarter of a mile. Yeah, no, I'd say more of a quarter of a mile. One light, only light to get there. We're literally right there. I'm like, dude, let's just walk. Like, I could tell this guy was fucked up, barely able to walk, slurring his words. Just turned 21, just started drinking heavily. And they're all, no, man, it's just right there. They're like, blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, go back and forth. Like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, dude, you don't have to come. We'll come back and pick you up. I'm like, whatever, I'll come. So I get in the car, and I just know it's a bad idea. My head down the entire time. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm in the back seat. My brother's right here, and he's driving. We come up to the light, slams into the back of a van. I look up. Well, I got thrown up. My head hit like the oh shit bar. And I look up. The whole windshield just completely cracked over. Both the airbags are deployed. He's just like kind of in confusion. I look over at my brother. He's not responding. I'm like trying to ask him if he's okay. I get out. I open the door and I notice he's like whatever. And then I notice the people are getting out of their car. And then I run up to them. I'm like, "Are you guys all right?" And then they were like, "Are you all right?" And I look back and literally this is what our truck looked like. It was like just completely fucking smashed in on the front. The other vehicle had some damage in the back, but not as much. Um, at that point, I was like, "Holy fuck, we got to get the fuck out of here." We're in the middle of the street. It's a green light. There's cars going by, stopping. I go and I open the front door more, and I like pull my brother out. I'm like, "Dude, we got to get the fuck out of here." And he's just like in confusion. And he looks back, and then he looks at me, and then I'm like, "Let's go." And we run across the street, and there was this like little trailer park, and I thought that it went farther in, so we hopped the fence right there, but it was just like a dead end. It was just like a couple trailers, so we had to hop the fence again, start running through a neighborhood. Eventually get to a point where we could stop, figure out where we're at. My brother's completely out of it. I'm pretty sure he had a concussion, or was just still really drunk, because he drank a little bit some of the other guys. Um, we end up start walking. He's like mumbling a whole bunch of stuff and just saying weird things, like just weird stuff. And then ended up going and saying, "Oh, this is my buddy Frank's house." He's like, "Maybe he'll be able to give us a ride home." I was like, "Oh, nice." And at this point, it's like 1:30, 2 in the morning, maybe a little bit later, and He goes up, knocks on the door. He's like, "Hey, is Frank home?" And the person's like, um, "I don't know who you are. There's nobody by the name of Frank. Please get off my porch." And I was like, "Holy fuck!" And like this person wasn't pissed, and then goes up to another house, and then I'm like, I'm not even gonna stand next to it because we only had walked like another 100 feet, and he's like, "Oh no, it's this one right here, my bad." And I was like, "Whatever, I'm gonna go stand over here." This person gets super pissed. I can hear some yelling, someone, I couldn't hear what he was saying. Slams the door, and then my brother starts running towards me. He's like, "Oh, we gotta go, we gotta go." And I'm like, "All right." And then we start running a little bit. We stop. At this point, I'm kind of on the right track of where we need to go. We had to walk probably 7, 8 miles to get home. Um, we notice a group of people in their front yard. They're having like a bonfire, a bunch of people drinking. Um, my brother runs over, just starts trying to talk to him, like walking up into their driveway, and then they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, start yelling at him and this and that. They all get pissed off at him, start yelling and like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And they're like yelling at us. I'm like, "Dude, let's go." And I'm like, "He's fucking drunk. He has no idea what he's doing." So we end up going, getting away from those people. Um, we're about a mile from the house. Um, And I tell my brother, "All right, we just gotta go this way and then take a right here, and it should be a straightaway." And he's like, "Nah, dude, we gotta go this way, and then we take a left." And he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. We get into an argument. I'm like, "Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You knocked on 3 houses," and then he just like kind of like, "What are you talking?" Like, he was completely out of it. So I end up walking away. We needed to go. I walk that till I'm about a quarter mile away from my house, and I waited about 45 minutes for him. Never showed up. So I ended up going to my house. I snuck into the backyard, and this is kind of what it looked like. The house wasn't as fancy, but it was like a big open area to where people walking back and forth were able to see outside, but I was able to also see in. So I'm like looking what's going on, and it looked like the beginning of Home Alone when everybody's scurrying back and forth in the house, and there's a bunch of commotion going on because they had found out. Obviously, the police had came, called them. They had no idea where we were. We were supposed to be with him. He got into an accident. People said they seen kids leaving the scene, so they end up figuring it out. They're going around the house trying to figure out what to do. And then my stepmom notices me standing outside, and she opens the door and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she gets all pissed off. Asked me what happened. I let her know, and she's like, "What the hell? You just left him?" I'm like, "Well, he wasn't coming, and I wanted to get here, let you guys know we were all right. I don't know where he went. He was kind of causing more issues for himself. Like, I felt bad after, but ended up getting into the car. Like, let's go look for him. So we ended up going looking for him. We get a phone call, like 20 minutes after we're driving around the neighborhood, just looking for him, and we end up hearing that he walked to a Circle K, asked some guy for a ride, and he ended up giving him a ride home. Like, I guess just, and this is pre-Uber, so he would have had to got a taxi. He had no money, 15, nothing on him, like no ID. Like, I have no idea. This guy just ended up giving him a ride home, but we ended up getting into some shit. I went back to my mom's though, and never told my mom. I told her later on, but didn't tell her at the moment. So like, had a week go by, and then when I went back to my dad's, was in the shit again. But it's why one of the reasons I don't drink and drive. It's crazy story. Smacked my head hurt for a couple days. My brother, I'm pretty sure, did have a concussion. I think he went to the hospital. I'm not exactly sure because I had went back to my mom's, but yeah, craziness. But I hope you guys like the story. Hopefully, I'll be able to do a couple more like this. I want to let you know a couple other things, or just stories that I have almost dying, more alcohol, or just interesting stuff that happens. Hope you liked it. Um, Subscribe, like, throw it up. Peace out, guys. Peace.